I'm gonna get into this, all right?
Let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of The Evolution, the transformative podcast, your go-to podcast for unlocking the limitless power of your energy and mindset. I'm Javon, also known as Mr. Raise the Vibes, your personal growth coach dedicated to transforming the way you think, feel, and experience life. If you haven't already, it would mean the world to me if you would please subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram at @RaiseTheVibes_. Now, today's episode is a special one. I'm joined by Dustin Presley, a California native whose football journey has taken him across the country and helped shape both the man and the coach he is today. Dustin began his college football career at Fresno State, where he laid the foundation for his development as a defensive back. From there, his journey led him to the University of Arkansas at Monticello, where he continued to grow as both a player and a person before finishing his playing career at University of Sioux Falls in South Dakota. After hanging up the cleats, Dustin transitioned into coaching and player development, stepping into roles that allowed him to stay connected to the game while exploring his impact beyond himself. He's coached defensive backs at the collegiate level, including stops at Long Beach City College, East Los Angeles College, and Snow College. Beyond the college game, Dustin has also worked in athlete development spaces through organizations like Nike football camps and Next Athletes, helping young athletes sharpen not their skills, but their mindset, confidence, and approach to life. What stands out most about Dustin's journey is how he's used football as a foundation, not a finish line. In this conversation, we're diving into his personal journey through the game, the mindset shifts that came with each transition, how his identity evolved beyond football, and how coaching has become a vehicle for him to impact the next generation with purpose and intention. Dustin, I appreciate you being here, brother. Welcome to The Evolution, my man. So happy to have you here with me.
Boy, hey, that was a great intro, dog. I appreciate you, man. I'm happy to be here, happy to chop it up with you, dog, and you know, like, just thankful, you know, for you having this platform and inviting me on to be able to share some things about my journey.
As good of an intro as it was, you lived it. I just said it, you lived it, bro. And it's one of those things that it sounds great, but I'm sure in the midst of it all, experiencing it all, where we are today, we can look back and look at the resume like, damn, I did all of that. But I'm sure in the moments it was probably didn't feel as great as it sounds right now as I'm reading it through on paper.
Yeah, you know, as all things, it had its challenges. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, you know what I'm saying? Grateful for it all because, you know, it contributed to who I am today.
Of course, man. And as I have you sitting in front of me today, I mean, let's take it back though, right? We're not going to assume everyone knows who Dustin Presley is. So tell me a little bit about Dustin Presley. Like, again, growing up in Inglewood, California, what was that like? Because, like, you know, I'm here in Boston on the other side of the world pretty much. Like, I've never been to California. So what's it like? Like, paint the picture. What's it like growing up in Inglewood, California? Is California what it appears to be on all the TV shows and the movies? Was that the life you had growing up?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily the life I had, but there were some, you know, there's some depictions that you could kind of, you know, relate to. You know, I grew up down the street from the high school my pops went to school at, Morningside High School. That's where we moved there when I was in second grade and, you know, stayed there up until, you know, I was asked to go move with my auntie when I turned 14. So, I mean, I love Inglewood, man. My nana still stays in Inglewood. You know, I always had this dream of, you know, purchasing a home in Inglewood, like in the avenues, you know, in the area where my grandma stays. But I mean, it was solid. I mean, just like any area that has its own identity, its own, you know, like rough edges, it kind of comes with the environment. Like it's the norm to you because you grew up there, but on the outside looking in, it's like, you know, like what's going on here? And I could kind of best describe that as like, I'll never forget. We had some cousins from Sacramento come visit us, and they came by the crib, and then we was walking them to the car. Like me and my pops was walking them to the car, and I'm standing next to my uncle and my cousin, tried to like whisper to my uncle, like why do they live here? You know what I'm saying? Like why do they live in this neighborhood? And I heard it, like, and I just kind of like look, and mind you, I was probably like, I might have been like between 10 and 12, when he said that, and I'm like thinking like what you mean? Like what's wrong with my neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? Again, it's what's normal for me, and the environment I grew up in differs to someone else. Like it wasn't nothing, too crazy. I mean, I seen some things, but it was my norm. You know what I'm saying? It definitely differed from me moving and staying with my aunt. I enjoyed my time in Inglewood. It definitely had an impact on me in a lot of different ways. But I still look at it today, and all the new growth and the buildings, the Clippers over there, Hollywood Park, and all these things that have changed. They definitely gave it a facelift, but it also kind of like took away from, what I remember it being as a kid.
Okay. So you were in Inglewood till what, 12, 13? That's when you went, well, 14 when you said you went and moved with your aunt?
Yeah, so my aunt lived about like 20 minutes from us in Torrance, California. So I went to Narbonne High School, and my high school was probably 10 minutes from my aunt's house. And so I had to take, from Inglewood, I had to take 2 buses to get to my school. And so, I was walking home from school on Halloween, my freshman year. It was a couple dudes on me while I was walking. And so I get home, tell my dad the story, and he didn't think it was funny. So the next day, he had a conversation with my nana and my aunt, and he told me that I had to go stay with my aunt. So, as a dad, it's him trying to protect me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that at the time. I'm like, what you mean I got to move? So moved to stay with my aunt in Torrance, and that became home. You know what I'm saying? Like, from 14 on, I mean, to this day, like that, we refer to that's the house. Like me and my sister refer to that as the house. So.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, at that time, again, you were freshman in high school. You leaving all your friends behind, everything that you know behind. So how much of an impact did Inglewood have on you? Like, and how much did Inglewood like impact like who you were as a person?
I mean, it was like you said, I definitely was forced to separate myself from the people that I grew up with all those years, and learning and adjusting to now this new environment, and also being in high school and developing friends and relationships there. So I think one thing that I missed during that time, like that didn't hit me, was like kind of like the savvy in certain areas that I saw my friends develop. Like when I would go connect with them on the weekends, like, and stuff like that, and I'm seeing they tapped into different things, like whether that's like at the time, jailbreaking phones was big, or I had a homie who was he would like change the screens on phones, like just different random little things that he was like hustling with. Like I didn't pick up on that. Like I'm over here, my senior year, I'm selling snacks on my backpack, like I paired with one of the homies, like I'm selling hot Cheetos and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I did that briefly, like, okay, I need to just try to grab some change while I'm here. But the homie was over here, like he swapping out batteries, changing screens, like he jailbreaking phones, like, he's swapping out screens on sidekicks. Like, I'm like, damn, like if I'd have stayed, I'd have grabbed that knowledge, you know what I mean? But it was just different things like that they became more privy to, that I missed because, my environment was different. And then I was also the only one of us that was heavy in the sports. So like that also, took majority of my attention. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You just hit me with the sidekick, bro. Like, you just took me way back. You said sidekick. I'm like, damn. I forgot before iPhone, before BlackBerry.
Yeah, duh. It was that sidekick.
Sidekick.
It was that
Okay.
sidekick, yo.
So I'm glad you mentioned that you were the only one really into sports now. How did sports come into the picture?
Man, so the very first sport I ever played was basketball. Like I think I started playing basketball when I was maybe like in first or second grade. Played at the park, for the little park team. I was over at Jesse Owens Park. Played there, but we practiced and played there, but I was technically playing for damn, what was the name of the park? I forget the name of the park that I was really like affiliated with, but we played at Jesse Owens. And so I started hooping. I was like, I wanted to hoop. I didn't even watch football, bro. I watched basketball. I watched the Lakers. I grew up in a household where basketball was king. Kobe, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to hoop. And so I didn't start playing football until third grade. Randomly, I'm in the car with my pops. We driving. He like, yeah, it's time to sign you up for football, son. I'm like, what the hell? Like football? Like I don't even watch football, let alone want to play. So then I ended up signing up that summer, played for Gardena Mohicans. Started off playing O line, and then I played foot. From that point on, I played football, football and basketball, like together. You know what I'm saying? Fall was football, spring, winter time, basketball, and I did that all the way up until eighth grade.
Okay. Okay. So who did you look up to football, right? So you're talking about you're in third grade, so maybe
Yeah.
2001, 2002. Who are you looking at? Like, did you start watching football now that you were playing, or was it just like I'm just doing this because my pops wants me to play?
I appreciate you saying 2001, 2002, third grade, because I think was I. So I started high school in '05. 90, what, maybe 99, 2000. I'd have been
Okay.
third grade, maybe.
I don't want to age you like
But
that.
truthfully, but
I was trying
no,
to age
you
you. I
did
had
me,
to
you
play
did me a
safe.
solid.
You
You
get
did me a
what?
solid. You reverse stage me. You know what I'm saying? Um, but damn, like I really once I started watching football and like really kind of like being in tune. I used to watch the Niners a lot. Like fourth, fifth grade, I used to watch the Niners a lot. Um, and then I want to say my dad actually took me to a San Diego Chargers training camp where they came out here to the it used to be called the Home Depot Center. They came and they had training camp at the Home Depot Center. So from that point on, I became a Charger fan. Like watching LT, Doug Flutie was on the team then. It was Doug Flutie, Drew Brees. They were the quarterbacks then. You had LT in the backfield. Um, so like I was a Charger fan. Like, but I hadn't really identified with like a certain player at the NFL level. Like, cause when I first started watching football, with the exception of going to that Chargers training camp, big time SC fan. Like I'm watching SC when you got Matt Leinart, Mike Williams, Reggie Bush, Lindell White. I'm watching those cats. Like I'm standing in front of my TV watching them games, watching Mike Williams catch a touchdown in the back of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then boom, years pass, and now I'm watching Taylor Mays come across the middle and kill a post route against Cal. So now like I'm starting to really get into football, and now I'm watching it. I'm watching Sean Taylor. I'm watching Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Champ Bailey. Like, these are the guys that now I'm looking at. And mind you, I hadn't even started playing defense yet. I didn't start playing defense till I was like in seventh grade. Like, I have been a premier O lineman for years. And then it's like, then I'm like, dang, I'm not getting no bigger. I'm getting taller and skinnier. Like, so I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing this O line stuff, dog. So I'll never forget. I told my coach, like, I was like, yo, coach, I think I want to play receiver this year. Like, And before that, no bullshit, I tried to play quarterback. Like I started that particular season. I went into it like I'm gonna play quarterback. Then I'm looking at the dudes throwing the rock. I'm like, I'm not playing quarterback. So then I go holler at my coach and I'm like, man, like maybe I could get some receiver in. And so then I started playing receiver, learning how to run routes and things like that. But I was sprouting up, but I wasn't used to my size. Like I wasn't used to my height. And I mean, I'm not even that tall, but at that time, like, I'm like, damn, like, like I'm lanky as hell, still wearing these bulky ass lineman cleats. And I'll never forget my,
Yeah.
I'll never forget my coach made like he stopped practice and made like a whole little announcement like, look, man, like I want to just really bring some attention to something that one of y'all teammates, man, he really been working his tail off, and like he's played lineman this whole time, and I just gotta give it up for Dustin. He's making the transition for receiver, and he's taking it all in stride. Like he's doing a great job, and I'm just like, thanks. I appreciate it. Like my teammates clapping and stuff, like, but I ain't catch a damn pass that year, dog. Like, that transition was short lived.
Listen, I couldn't catch a cold out there. But I will say
Bro,
you
no
probably
lie.
have some good skills out there on the O line.
I did. I did. So they ended up, I ended up moving to D line, played D line, played some defensive end, but it wasn't. But it wasn't. And then my very first game ever playing at corner, bro, I'm out there, I'm on our sideline, receiver catch like a little stop. And so I'm looking at my coaches like, I'm doing that. And so dude running towards me, I run up, boom, I catch him, helmet to the gut, bro. Wind knocked out of me and everything. I'm sitting there like, okay, this defensive stuff out on this outside, on this island is different. Like, like can't do it right now. This ain't it.
That's funny, bro. But I'm at least glad you had all that experience, because now coaching, it's like, listen, kid, I had my fingers in the dirt. I was doing that. I was out there trying to run routes. I was on the D line. So it's all full circle for you now, coming back to it as a coach. But in all of that experience of playing all these positions and just trying to figure out what's the best fit for you on the field, what else did football teach you? Did it have an impact on your identity? Because as you're talking about, like, when you started getting into the game, the name you mentioned was Taylor Mays, right? And for me, he's the reason why I thought I wanted to go to University of South Carolina, because I really thought that's what USC was. I bullshit you not, bro. Like, I ain't had no idea, bro. I just knew like this dude was rocking shit back there at safety. He looked cold. He was athletic, and I'm like, yo, ma, I want to go to University of South Carolina. Like, I love their colors, not even knowing it's Southern California, bro. But it's funny when you say that. Like, I wasn't even on football because I started in 2003 when I was in the third grade, similar to you. I wasn't watching football, but growing up in New England, I was fortunate. Very fortunate to grow up in New England, because all I know is Red Sox winning, Bruins winning, Patriots winning, Celtics winning. So we lit. So I'm just thinking like, bro, I should be playing sports, because like that's all I'm seeing everywhere. So I'm watching Tom Brady and all of that. So now I'm starting to get acclimated to the game. Had we not been winning, I don't know if I would have loved the game as much as I did, because it was just such a big part of culture up here, because the Patriots were nice when I started playing. I'm talking about Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. So for you, when you're going through your whole, I guess, your journey of growing up, getting into the game, what did the game do for you? How did the game change you as you're changing your positions and trying to figure it out?
Man, that's a great question, because like in those early stages, like and we ain't even talking about high school yet. You know what I'm saying? So as them early stages, the biggest thing for me that I was learning and taking from playing was like one, like we don't quit. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you attach yourself to, however long that particular season of it is, like you ride that out. You know what I'm saying? And you max it out, because it was a period. It was one year where me and my dad had got into it, but I knew he wanted me to play football that year. And so for me thinking like, oh, I'm about to get him, I'm not going to play. He like, the hell you aren't, you know what I'm saying? So I played that year and I didn't want to because of a gripe I had with my pops. So I had to still play that year. I didn't put forth the effort because I'm thinking it's hurting him, but it's really hurting me. But in those moments, like in them early years, bro, it's like you don't quit. You know what I'm saying? You keep going. Whether that's, taking it to 8th grade, like, me being in 8th grade, but being one of the smaller guys now at this point, like we doing tackling drills. I'll never forget my boy's pops was one of our coaches. He made me do this tackling drill 7 times in a row until I got the dude down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could have walked off the field, bro, like, man, F this. You know what I'm saying? Like, boo-hooing. I could have just slid, whatever. I could have gave up. But I continued to go until, like, it was satisfactory. You know what I'm saying? Until it was done. And so that's the biggest thing that I took from that. That's the biggest thing that has shaped me, is that you do what you do. You do what you step into. If you chose to do this, then you're going to grind it out. You're going to finish it. And then from that, like, of course, we know football and just sports in general is going to build your character. And that was one of those things. Like, all those moments, like, and that's one thing too, like, being in those situations, like, you never are really like, yeah, you might have some teammates talking shit like, oh, you soft, whatever. But they ultimately want you to be better because, like, you going to have to be on the field at some point, whether that's on special teams, offense, or defense. So it's like when they see you going through that situation where you getting ran over or you missing tackles, like, and this is in practice, like, they like, hey, DP, you got to get it. Come on, bro. Like, come on. And they rooting for you. Like, and that's a moment that I experienced, like, as an 8th grader, like, man, and I could have quit. I could have never wanted to play football again after that, but just perseverance. I guess that's probably what you could say, just being able to persevere regardless of what the situation is.
Sounds like the game taught you a lot early on in life, not just about playing football, but just about living life and developing some of the traits that you need to be successful in life. Which is amazing. I think that's one of the biggest benefits of sports. That's why I'm a huge advocate for getting all kids into sports early. It's not just about them being good at the sport, but it's about the skills that they develop, the traits that they develop, the confidence that they develop in playing this sport, being around others just like them, same age, same environment, similar circumstances, where it's like, hey, they can do it, I can do it. And guess what? Everyone's running, you're running. Everyone's doing them burpees, you're doing those burpees. Everyone's hitting, you're hitting. And it builds their confidence, but then also in that, they're just building those other skills that they're going to need, that's going to help them just become better humans, better adults. So I'm glad to hear that football really provided you just with some sense of development outside of the game. But when did you start to develop as an athlete? When did you start to become a good football player where it's like, okay, now now I can get competitive. This is no longer just about me still learning the game. When did DP become like, oh yeah, like, I got some more confidence in the game, and it's not like, oh, I'm on the field to play. Like, no, I'm on the field to win.
Yeah, so I'll say, like, so my 8th grade year, I played linebacker, and that was really, like, unique for me to really, like, okay, like, I'm being impactful now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making tackles, I'm blitzing. Like, it was a completely different perspective of football for me versus when I first started, or those early years. So then taking that, transition that into high school. 9th grade, I had just got moved to corner, so I was real green. I had never played corner except for that time, what I'm saying, I took that helmet to the stomach when I was like in 4th grade. 9th grade, really green. I had a really good DB coach. My homeboy's dad, one of my good friends, his pops, Bruce Young, he played for Colorado, played safety there at the University of Colorado. Between him and his son Devin, one of my good friends, they really taught me corner. Like, they taught me how to play corner. And so 9th grade was me really learning, like, and understanding the position. and watching the position closely, watching the Champ Baileys at that time, watching Nnamdi Asomugha, who also went to my high school, watching them two for real, and really kind of just being more intentional with how I'm now watching football versus just being a fan. So then 10th grade was really where I got the confidence. Like, I ran track in 9th grade, so I got a little faster. I started working out with my friends that I had developed in high school. We started working out on our own, going to the park and stuff like that. And then so 10th grade, shout out to my DB coach in 10th grade, Coach Theron. That was really where like I took a shift. Like, that's where I was a guy, you know what I'm saying, at that point. Started at corner in 10th grade, and really started to just understand the position and really be impactful, like impactful in a way like I'm not coming off the field unless I'm hurt, you know what I'm saying? So that's when that shift came for me, to where I had the confidence that I could really do this at a high level.
And it didn't stop there for you, right? Because at this point, we're hearing a common theme. You are progressing. You are being put in new situations that make you uncomfortable. You're adapting, you're adjusting, you're overcoming, and then you're just overall becoming a better individual because of those situations that you're in now. So now you're starting to come into yourself as an elite, high-level football player, right? So go through high school. Now we're in college and we're at Fresno State. What was that journey like for you trying to get on the field at Fresno State? Because, yeah, a lot of people are great high school players, but again, less than 2% of high school players end up playing football at the college level, never mind a high level. Because Fresno State was in the Pac-12, right? Or
At that time, they was in the WAC. They was in the WAC at the time.
See, excuse me, before my time. Please excuse
They was in the
me.
WAC
Let
at
me
the
get my foot
time.
out my mouth. So, but even at that, right, playing in the WAC,
Yeah,
less than 1% of the population can even do that. Less than
yeah.
0.5% of all high school seniors get a chance to play. So now you go to Fresno State, and obviously you're passionate about the game. You love the game. What's the journey like for you to try to get on the field there?
Yeah, man, it was definitely a unique experience because, like, I mean, my high school, we had guys, man. We had guys. Like, even in my senior year, I started the bulk of the season, but one of my homeboys really developed into a good corner, and he ended up taking the starting spot over me. So now, I towards the end of my senior year, I'm scratching and clawing for minutes. So wasn't highly recruited. Wasn't even really aware of Division II schools, NAI, D3. All I knew was what was around me, right? I know SC, I know UCLA. Tim Skipper, who is now the head coach at Cal Poly, he pulled up to my school, like doing some recruiting, and I met Tim Skipper. He was at Fresno State at the time. He was I think he was the running back coach at the time. So I met him. And I just had a conversation with him, and I asked him, how would I be able to go about walking on at Fresno? Because I had already got accepted into the school just as a student. And so he gave me some insight. So boom, I graduated high school, get to Fresno, they host tryouts. I try out, thought I did pretty well, man. Thought I did good, but ended up not making the team. So then, don't make the team as a freshman. I continue to, stay around ball, doing intramurals. I even tried to, I tried out for the track team there too. Like I was trying to be an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to make it happen. So did intramurals, tried out for the track team, didn't make it. And then so going into my sophomore year, it's like I turned it up even more. I'm like, all right, like, I had developed some relationships with some of the football players, so I started working out with them. Truth be told, Derek Carr was on the team at the time. Met him, met some of the receivers. I started throwing with them, started running routes against them, start doing one-on-ones with them and stuff like that during Derek Carr's redshirt year. And then, boom, tryout comes. I'll never forget, one of my homies who stayed in the same apartment complex, he played corner there at Fresno. I get up, I go up for my to do my 40. He like, man, DP, take all that off. Take all that off. Like my shirt, my shorts, he like, just run it in the tights. Run it in the tights. He gassing me. So boom, run my 40. Run my 40. We do one-on-ones. I did one-on-ones on both sides of the ball. I did receiver, I did corner. At that level, when they had the tryouts, there's no ball. So it's all like, we just want to see how you move. You know what I'm saying? I go at DB. They had a kid that was at the tryout who was like a preferred walk on. Like they knew of this kid, had his tape, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They have him guard me at corner. And so a GA was right there giving the routes. So I go up, I was like, I got you. I go over there. The GA pulled me to the side as I'm telling him my route. He was like, look, bro, I don't know you. But my boss wants this kid. He was like, please don't make me look stupid. I looked at him, I smiled, I was like, I got you, don't worry. I get out there, I hit the kid with a stutter and go, bro. Boom, push him off the ball first. Push him off the ball. He looks back, boom, I take off, over with. Like, over with. Unfortunately for him, he didn't make the team I did. But nonetheless, I make the team. I start spring workouts. Actually end up having my first DB meeting with the DB coach, like a part of the team type of deal. And then, boom, I get the call that I get cut. So it happened, then it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, even for me, just getting that little taste of like joining spring workouts, like being in a DB meeting, watching film, like I'm like, oh, I'm a D1 athlete, I'm on, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, I get cut. So then from that point on, started the journey to where can I go? Where, you know, what opportunities can I create for myself, you know?
Okay. I mean, I love that story though, right? And it's a true testament just to like resilience and just commitment and dedication, because they closed the door on you one time, but that wasn't enough for you. You went and you tried to, okay, cool, football ain't, let me go try track. All right, track ain't work, let me work on my craft a little bit more. Let me develop myself, because clearly I don't have something that they need to see in me to give me that chance. And you went back, you did the work, and then you got that chance. Granted, you know how political college football is, and just how things happen at that level, regardless whether it was something that you did wrong or maybe someone needed a favor and they needed another roster spot for someone's kid or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't end up working out for you there. But the show doesn't stop there, right? Because now you're looking for new opportunities. But I think coming in, you got some credibility now, right? You built some trust behind the name and your athletic ability. Now have tried out and been selected and named a part of the spring team at Fresno State. So walk me through that transition over to UAM, right? How was that like going to Arkansas Monticello, and how did your, I guess, experience at Fresno State impact that transition going over to Monticello?
Yeah, nah, man. It was a unique like space that I was in. Some may know and some don't, but I was gonna go JUCO. So boom, I get cut. I go meet with the recruiting coordinator at Fresno. We have a conversation, and you know, I was like, man, I ended up talking to one of my homeboys that lived in the same apartment complex as me, and he was like, yo, it's a JUCO not too far from here, Fresno City College. So I'm like, I'm gonna see what's up. So I end up, reaching out to the head coach at the time at Fresno City College, and seeing how I could do, what is it called, dual enrollment by, you know, maintaining my coursework at Fresno and then taking a class or two at Fresno City so I could participate in spring ball with Fresno City. So ultimately, that's what I ended up doing. Get to Fresno City, man, and I meet a guy and rest in peace to him. And my boy, his name, he ended up being a coach. His name, dang, what's his last? I know his last name is right. I can't think of his first name right now, but nonetheless, he was a corner on at Fresno's team, at Fresno City's team, and we would be out there chopping it up all the time. And he kind of told me that he was like, "Yeah, bro, I'm not staying here for the season. Like, I got an offer to Upper Iowa off my high school tape." I'm like, "What? How you do that?" Like, he was like, "Bro, you don't have to go JUCO. Like, you already at a 4-year, you got the grades. Like, you could just, see what's up at another 4 year." So he was the one who kind of encouraged me to like put a tape together and just start emailing coaches. I went through that whole spring with Fresno City. I actually ended up playing both ways there. And their head coach was like, "How you liking that receiver? You look kind of good out there. Like, you want to do it." But I'm like, I like defense. You know what I'm saying? I ended up going through that spring with Fresno City, and then ultimately was like still considering JUCO, but I was going to come home and do it here, because I had some of my close friends was going to JUCO out here. And so then I end up, like I said, sending emails to coaches. End up, at the time, Coach Keith Scott was our D coordinator at Monticello. Shout out to Coach Scott. I got in contact with him. We ended up kind of just texting and calling each other throughout the whole summer. And I ended up getting an offer to go to Monticello. And so I committed. And I got out there. I got out there probably late July, a week or so before camp started, and then the journey as a boll weevil began.
Journey as a cotton picking boll weevil. God
Man.
damn. A cotton picking boll weevil. Ain't that the story?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, and I gotta say, my boy that passed away, his name was Billy Wright. I gotta show love to him, man. Rest in peace, Billy Wright.
God bless that man's soul, man. People come in your life for a reason, some for a season, and it's a blessing that he was able to come in your life at the time that he did, and just introduce you to another opportunity, another option that you might not have considered. Again, it's just beautiful when you really look back at life and just look at all the people that we've been blessed enough to encounter with, and just the impact they have on our life years later. They don't even realize the impact that they had on your life. So yeah, God bless that man's soul. But now you're in Monticello, right? It didn't just end there, because at this point, this is your third stop, right? Fresno State, Community College. Now we at UAM, and it doesn't stop there, right? Now, what were you looking for, right? Because there's another stop, a part of this college journey of yours, right? Now, what made you leave Monticello and go over to Sioux Falls in South Dakota?
Man, truth be told, I don't think I've only had talked about this in person with people, but never on a platform, I don't think. So I get home. I graduated in 2014 from Arkansas Monticello. You was at my graduation. Legendary moment, hit the yeet. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, real talk, bro.
Hey, I still got the video. Legendary, bro. Legendary.
Yeah, you got that.
Hey, for those that don't know, Javon had my phone while I was walking across stage and recorded me go across stage. And for that period of time, we was on this yeet. I don't know who, what rapper we was on, whatever, but we was just yeeting. So as soon as I get to the stage, they call my name, I do the boom, boom, yeet. And then you just hear all the homies right there hitting it. So yeah, legendary moment, dog. Legendary moment. But so I graduated from Monticello 2014, and I get home, after graduation, and at this time I still intended on coming back. I still intended on coming back to Monticello, because Coach Scott did know that. Coach Scott knew I had another year, And I was playing with the idea of leaving for an opportunity to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started games at Monticello, but truth be told, it was some younger guys behind me or in the room that were developing. You know what I'm saying? We had Mike Early, you know what I'm saying? We had DeMarcus Robinson, you know what I'm saying? We had guys that were in the room. We had Byron that could play, you know what I'm saying? Although I also still had confidence in myself that I could still get minutes from being in that room, you know what I'm saying? It was still like the thought of like I could transfer and be a guy somewhere versus staying here and just being in that reserve role. So, throughout that whole spring semester leading up to graduation, Coach Scott was being helpful and helping me find places that I could go to, friends of his he's connected me to. But, going after graduation, I was kind of like, like maybe I will stay. But I get home back to California and I get a letter in the mail maybe after being home for a week. And that letter stated that they weren't going to renew my scholarship for that upcoming season. And so obviously bad taste in my mouth right out the gate. Hit Coach Scott, sent him a picture of it like, what's the deal? Nobody told me about this. I just get this letter. What's up? So literally from that moment that I received that letter, I grabbed my laptop and I started researching schools. Literally started emailing schools. Went back to my emails of schools that I had got offered from before I went to Monticello, and I started hitting up coaches. And ultimately, even though Coach Scott came back to me maybe a week or so later and said he hollered at Coach Jackson and they were going to keep me on scholarship, I had already been, in my mind, that bridge was burnt, and I made my mind up that I was going to slide. And so ended up getting in contact with Coach Tremaine Jackson, who at the time was a D coordinator at Sioux Falls. It was an opportunity to go there. I wasn't going to be on scholarship, but I was like, it's a winning program. Like, I ain't been on a winning program my whole collegiate career. He showed interest in me. And, on the outside looking in, I'm like, I could go over here and make a splash. You know what I'm talking about? So boom, I decided to go there. I get there. Like I said, I was still living it. I had came back to Monticello because once I decided I was leaving, I had to go ahead, end my lease, get my stuff, all of that. So I was kicking it at your crib, during that time, still popping up in the IPF, still working out a little bit. And then I finally moved to Sioux Falls, and I get out there, and like it's. Little did I know, I knew they was going to have me start off at safety. Like, that's where they wanted me to begin my time there. But I didn't realize that it was two All-American corners on the outside there that I'm like, oh, bro, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, confident in my ability at corner. Hadn't played safety since high school. So now I'm literally every night, before I go to bed, I'm spending 15, 20 minutes in that playbook learning safety and what my responsibilities are, what the calls are, and things like that. So it was a completely different shift for me because I went from being at Monticello with the same coordinator for the 3 years I was there, so I know the defense like the back of my hand, to now transferring as a senior, as a grad student, and I have to learn a completely different defense. So it was a challenge in itself for sure. And I mean, ultimately during my time there, like, didn't play at all week one at all, like 0 minutes, ST, nothing. Didn't play at all. After that week, I decided that I'm about to really just advocate for myself for real. Like, I went up to my DB coach, like, coach, I play corner. Like, I get it. Y'all had me coming at safety. Didn't win the job there. I play corner though, and he kind of laughing at me like, you really want to play corner? I was like, you didn't watch my tape, did you? I play corner, and so just so happens that one of the homies go down with an ankle injury, the second string corner, third corner in. Boom, he tweaked his ankle in practice. Finally, I can play corner. And then it's just it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, I'm making plays, you know what I'm saying? I'm being more competitive. I'm showing my worth, like, and it's showing up on tape, you know what I'm saying? But, unfortunately for me, playing behind two All-Americans means you only getting in when shit going left. Like, you got two All-Americans in front of you, dog, you know what I'm saying? But I ended up being on all special teams, and I just realized I accepted like this is how I'm gonna make my money. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be the first one down on kickoff. I'm gonna be the first one down on punt. If you got me on kick return, I'm gonna block my ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm a gunner on punt return. Like I'm gonna be the first one down there. Or excuse me, I'm a defender on the outside on punt return. Like I'm gonna just show my worth. Like it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not about to cry over spoiled milk, and this is my last year. So ultimately, I was a leader in the locker room, a leader on the defense. I just so happened to be a special teams guy. But my teammates knew my worth and my value as a player and who I was as a person, to where even though I was second string on the depth chart at corner and I was primarily playing special teams, they saw I earned the respect as a player and what they saw in me at practice. They knew the talent we had, and at times we all question like, damn, why so and so not playing? Like, yeah, there's those moments, but they respected what I knew about the game and how I approached the game, and ultimately in that 1 year just became an overall leader for as one of our leaders in the locker room. And it was a great experience for me because it was humbling. You know what I'm saying? It was humbling. I was getting minutes at Monticello, but I get to a situation where I'm not the guy. Like I'm not even a part of the guys. So now I just kind of transition, and that's really where I kind of found my voice, like in motivation and being encouraging and things like that. Like my season at Sioux Falls, they begin to expect for me to deliver the pregame message. They begin to expect for me to speak to the defense, to pray over the team. Like these were things that, yeah, like I'm not an all conference guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here with 5 interceptions. Like I'm not doing that. But I fuck around and with 5 tackles, like off of special teams. But they see the value of me as a person and how I impact the program that way. And I became a leader in that locker room. So, it was give and take. You know what I'm saying? I played in the bowl game, had a big hit in the bowl game, which stamped my career, final game of my career, and that was the way the cookie crumbled. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things I could have done differently, sure, but I ain't got no regrets. I had a blast. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm glad you shared that whole experience transferring there, man, because every story doesn't have a happy ending, right? Like you would love to hear that,
Facts.
like, oh, he left
Facts.
the school because of he just wasn't getting the next chance, and the next place he goes to, he finally gets a starting job. He's able to lead his team to a winning season, and he's a star player, all conference. But that's not the reality, right? Like, and that's why I really wanted to talk to you about your story, because again, it ain't all sunshines and rainbows, right? It ain't what you think you see in going to California. And I think I want to ask you this question because
Yeah.
the star player on the team, right? The All-American guy, no one questions his commitment to the game, his love for the game. But probably, I think those guys that are buried at the end of the depth chart, that are buried at the end of the bench, gotta love the game a little bit more because you showing up to every single practice, every single game, and you're not even playing. So that love for the game
Facts.
that you have, it's arguably even more, because if those guys weren't the stars, would they still be showing up the way they do? Would they still be training as hard as they did? Would they still be practicing the
Facts.
way they do? Would they still be paying attention to detail as much as they do if they're not getting those results, right? So for a guy like yourself that's still showing up, that's still practicing, that's still, again, a leader on the team despite not being a major contributor on when you're looking at the stat sheet at the end of the game, but your presence is felt and the team needs you. Did you feel like there was a point where your identity was tied to the game? Because you clearly have love for the game. Now,
Right.
was there ever a point where it's like the game is a part of you to the point where it's a little bit of unhealthy now that your value is diminishing because you're not getting the playing time that you think you deserve, or you're starting to feel like your life isn't as valuable as others, or your sense of worth is kind of starting to dwindle because like, yo, I'm not even the star on my team. Like, what was those feelings like for you, like in terms of like your identity to who you were and this connection to the game?
Man, it's a hell of a question, brother.
I
Um,
gotta put it on you. I gotta put it on you.
for me, going through that experience, I never questioned my love for the game in a way that I refuse to give the same amount of energy to it. I neglected the game. Um, I neglected the game from a perspective of what I gave to it outside of what was required of me. And I say that because in my 3 years at Monticello, I was named the starter. I was named the starter at two different points in that 3 year span. Like, and I say two different points, like meaning I started games. I started games in multiple seasons during my stint there. At multiple times throughout the season. But because I neglected what I put into the game, I no longer became the starter. You know what I'm saying? I lost my job. Excuse me. And then when we were talking earlier about the level of maturity that I had in those two different situations, being in Monticello and being in Sioux Falls, the maturity came in Sioux Falls where although I didn't have the highest amount of value on the field, I understood where I could be impactful. So even though I'm not in the game, I'm talking to that starting corner like, hey, bro, make sure you sink underneath the 7 cut. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get your eyes to 2. Make sure you press bail in this situation. Hey, it's a big ball moment. Go ahead and play for the ball. I started to kind of step into, like, unintentionally, I started to already kind of step into like a coaching phase where now, like, my value is contributing my knowledge versus me contributing my athletic ability. As opposed to when I was at Monticello, I was neglecting the game frequently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't taking advantage of what was around me. I wasn't taking advantage of my resources. I was distracted. I was immature because I had ample moments like where I could have been the guy. Ample moments. And I played some good games. The last game I ever played in Monticello, I had like 7 tackles, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Splitting time with me and Marco was spending time, and Marco didn't even have to do what he did because I don't know if you remember, but I tore my meniscus, and I tore my meniscus against ECU, our very first game of my last year in Monticello. Tear my meniscus. Boom. The next 3 weeks, I'm sneaking in on special teams. Like, I'm sneaking because I open the season one. Coach Scott straight up tells us 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, none of y'all are separating yourselves. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, hey, we about to rock this out. Like, fuck it, we all getting reps. Boom, tear my meniscus. 2, 3 weeks after that, I'm sticking in on special teams, just really trying to just show my worth again. So then I can't remember what week it was, but we played Arkansas Tech. And I finally like get some real minutes after tearing my meniscus. Finally get in there. And Coach Scott was honest with me. He just told me straight up, like, I still see you trying to trust your knee again. And I'm like, yeah, like, it was scary. Like, for a minute, my shit just felt like it was loose. Like, so, but I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it. Boom. Fast forward, like, Henderson week. We start playing with a nickel. I'm the start nickel. We never played the nickel package the whole game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just getting these special teams reps. Like, so boom, feeling aware about that. Next couple games, I'm playing sparingly, you know what I'm saying? But still doing my thing on ST. We get to the last game against SAU, and I'm completely healthy at this point. And Marco comes up to me before the game. He said, what you want to do, P? You want to start it off? Or you just want to rotate every series? I was like, honestly, bro, you earned it. Go ahead and start it off. I'll catch you on the next series. Love. Boom. We rotated every series, that whole game. I love to him for even, presenting that to me because he didn't have to, bro. That wasn't Coach Scott having a conversation with us. That was us talking as players. Like, look, bro, like, I know you've been fighting back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you back. So how you want to do it? You know what I'm saying? And we rocked out like that every other series. Like, I'll never forget one of the first passes they tried to hit on me. Boom, tight end ran up the seam. Boom, I bang him. I'm running with him. Quarterback look him off. I'm like, boom, I'm here. I'm back. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Go ahead.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the last touchdown they scored, I banged the fuck out of the running back. Like, you gonna feel me? Like, but needless to say, like, to just kind of encompass everything that you asked, I understood where I stood in Sioux Falls. I refused in Monticello like to give into that because I knew, like, I tricked myself off. With the exception of the injuries, I tricked myself off. So in Monticello, it was me like trying to get it back, constantly trying to get it back, but still not changing my behavior. In Sioux Falls, I changed my behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, I became better. You know, like, I'm focusing better in the right ways, and I had to accept what my fate was, you know. So I was like, well, I'm not about to sit here and dwell about it and be in my feelings. I'm just about to pour in where I'm able to pour in at.
Okay. And much respect for you for being able to do that, because I think that really set the tone for you as you begin to wrap up and realize that your time playing this game is coming to an end. Now, at
Yeah,
any point, did you ever feel like your identity was tied to the game of football?
yeah, for sure. To a fault. Like, that was a part of your question. Yes. So it didn't feel that way for me in college though. It felt that way for me like after I played because I was trying to force it. Like, I'm trying to play arena. Like, my first coaching job, I took a D2 job at New Mexico Highlands, and I resigned from that job after 1 year because I wanted to play again. You know, so like it kind of, I guess in a sense, it put a pause on my coaching career to chase after something that didn't really exist, you know, because like I come home, I'm thinking I'm gonna have a shot playing arena. It doesn't happen. I start playing semi-pro. I'm enjoying that, but it's semi-pro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting paid doing this. But fortunately enough for me, I was in situations where um, I was around like players and players, coaches, and like front office personnel that was tapping into those rooms to where I had some opportunities to play at the next level. Like, you know, I was invited to a CFL workout, you know, based off a guy pulling it up to a semi-pro tryout. I couldn't attend that CFL tryout because the weekend of the trial was my sister's college graduation. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward, I I had an opportunity to go play overseas. I played in a pro showcase in 2018. Got some arena feedback from that, but because I didn't have strong college tape, they wanted me to fly out and try out. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. My son about to be I just find out my oldest son is gonna be born. I'm like, I'm not about to. I didn't feel the risk. Like, I'm like, I'm making money at home. I got a job. Like, I didn't see the risk in me flying out to a lower level arena team to see, you know, show my worth and try to make the team where I'm gonna be getting paid like $250 a game. Like, nah. So I said no to that. Said no to the overseas situation. I'm like, I'm not about to go play in France. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had these moments throughout my post playing career where yes, I did still have my identity tied to it. And it's really not until like maybe like recent years, like 2022 for real, where I let it go. Like, I'm like, we good, P. Like, you did what you could with what you had, bro. Like, it's good.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. As you're telling me your story, bro, and sharing your journey with me, I can't help but like just look at the parallels between what you experienced and a little bit about what I experienced. Even when you're talking about when you received that letter in the mail about them pulling your scholarship. I never got the letter in the mail, but I'll never forget that exit interview that I had with HUD that spring, and I knew
Yeah.
at that time that this was the spring for me. This was going to be the deciding factor for me, and I remember
Hmm.
going into that spring season that like I need to be the best that I can be, so that I am so undeniable that they have no choice but to play me. And I'll never forget that spring game. That entire spring, I led the entire offense in production. I think my grade was at like a 97, bro, because I became a student of the game. I studied the game. I knew everything I needed to know. I knew everything that everyone else was doing as well, because I always wanted to be right. And I'll never forget, I'm in that exit meeting and he has a conversation with me about, hey, listen, we got a certain amount of out-of-state fee waivers and we're going to be using those for guys that are actually playing next year. So I'm looking around like, what you telling me for? Like, I led the offense in production. Like, you mean to tell me you think about cutting my scholarship? Like, what you need to be telling me is that I'm the starter coming into the fall. That's the only conversation you need to be having with me. Like, what you talking about, bro? So when you're talking about that, I'm like, yo, once we had that conversation, I was like, yeah, we packing this up. I ain't even coming back.
Straight up.
I knew. I knew right then and there, like, oh, we playing this game? Bet. So
real talk.
Like, it's like, all right, cool. We gonna part ways. Understood.
I'm out of here. Yeah.
And then even with that, like after the game ends, like, and I do transfer and I get some overseas looks. And again, the same thing in France. I would have loved to take advantage of that opportunity, but I got a son. Like, I got mouths to feed. Like, yeah, I'm not paying for housing over there. Yeah, I'm not paying for healthcare over there. Yeah, I'm taken care of. But that little funky couple $100 a month y'all giving, like, I'm gonna need somewhere to live when I come back home. I'm gonna need a car when I come back home. Like, that's not gonna be enough for me to take care of my responsibilities back home, and then for me to come back home at the end of the season and not have nothing. So it didn't make sense to go over there and take that risk when it's like, I could stay right here and make some good money. But here's one of the things that I realized in that whole journey, man. It's just like, God really works in mysterious ways. And once you really start living in your purpose, you start to experience so little resistance in life. And every step of the way for you, bro, it's resistance after resistance. It's this after this. It's one thing after another, because that's not what you're called to do, my brother.
That's not what you're called to do.
Called to do that, man. And neither was I. Like, God loved us enough to give us little glimpses and little taste of success along the way, because what good father wants to see their children fail, right? You want them to be happy. So you're going to give them what they want, even if you have something bigger and better for them. But it comes to a point in time, and when your kids get old enough and like, all right, son, you had enough fun. Come back. I'm going to need you to tighten up now.
Bring your ass back down to reality.
Yeah, sometimes it might be a gentle nudge, other times just smack you upside of the head. And for me, I had to go through that experience as well, where it's just like, oh, I'm not supposed to be playing football. Like, I'm not supposed to be playing. Like, I love it, but that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I hear the same thing when you're sharing your story. It's like, I get it. Like, things are happening and I'm not supposed to be playing football. But in me playing football, I discovered what I'm supposed to be doing. I was able to develop the skills that I needed, and I was put in these positions that, had it not been for me pursuing what I loved, I would not have been put in this position where I'm at Sioux Falls, and I take on this coaching role as a player to discover that, like, oh, this is me. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So now we're talking about DP, the coach. What was the most difficult part of that transition, other than accepting the fact that, like, your football career is over, like, you're no longer going to be putting on the jersey and getting on that field and playing? What was the most difficult part about that transition, mentally for you?
Oh, man. So, coaching wise, I mean, so I started coaching high school in 2017, which is also like the first year I started playing semi-pro. So I was, for my first, what, maybe, like low key, every year I played high school ball, every year I coached high school ball, I also played semi-pro. So it was very unique. It started to become a conflict, like, once I became a dad, because now it's like, okay, bro, like, again, talk about resistance. Like, I'm over here forcing it, trying to play, you know what I'm saying, when I really don't even have the time to really contribute to it. Like, but those first few years, dog, that I was coaching and playing, man, my players used to come watch me play, bro. Like, it was hard. Like, it was dope. Like, they used to pull up. Like, I'll never forget, it was one game. Shout out to Dylan and shout out to Peanut. They pulled up to my game And I played both ways, and then like it was fourth down, bro. Fourth down, I'm my receiver. Quarterback throw a bomb. I go up, go up for it, come down, first down, like, and I just remember getting up and seeing them standing next to my girl, geek, like, oh, like, let's go, Coach P, like turned up. Them being able to see that early in my coaching career was dope because it was like he's still doing it, like he's actually still doing it. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing for me was more so like creating in that first year coaching was creating that that fine line between coach and player, because I'm a player's coach. Like I'm a player's coach. I'm transparent. I'm realistic. You know what I'm saying? But early, like in that first job at Highlands, I had players that was older than me, so I was more so like the homie that coaches you. Like they respected my knowledge as a coach, but I was connected to them like they was still like my homies. You know what I'm saying? So once I got to high school, now I'm like more big bro. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to find my lane and how I balanced the two. But that was also my first group at the high school level, and I had them for 2 years. So that second year, they knew me already. And I knew them. There was an understanding of like when we tripping, Coach P about to be tripping. We good. You know what I'm saying? But when we tripping, he gonna trip. Let's tighten up. The biggest thing was just finding that. You know what I'm saying? Finding that balance between in that lane between coach and player to where it's still the respect. You know what I'm saying? But I want y'all to be y'all. You know, I want you to be who you are because I'm gonna be me. You know, but we just have to understand like. You the player, I'm the coach. You know what I'm saying? And so them first 2 years as a D coordinator and as a DB coach, like I was blessed, bro, to have just be in a really good environment where I was able to coach some really good kids, develop some really good kids like that I continue to stay in contact with to this day, and also be able to develop myself as a coach and really just understand how God wanted me to navigate that, which I'm also still learning about, you know what I'm saying? Because I've coached at the high school level, the 4-year level, and junior college. And so it's like, I run into, again, going back to that resistance and wanting to be in alignment with what God has for you. I struggle with, where do you want me? What level do you want me at? Because I want to coach 4-year ball, but do you want me to coach at that level again? You know what I'm saying? But I would like to coach JUCO ball at a high level. Is that where you want me to be? You know what I'm saying? Or do you want me to be at this high school level where I could touch these kids in this different way? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, God gonna give you a taste. Like, I know you want this, son. Here you go. But you're not about to get the whole plate. This ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for you. This one's for you. So it's, you know, being able now on the back end, having coach just completed my 10th season, is understanding like, where do you want me to be an impact at this point? You know what I'm saying? Where do you want me to create a foundation? Where do you want me to be able to pour in a way that, you know, my kids is more around here, you know, my family's around here contributing to this program. You know, I'm able to contribute without internal conflict to this program, to this situation. So yeah, man, that was the biggest thing mentally that I had to kind of overcome and find my way in, and there's still growth in that to come. You know what I'm saying? Especially being in those leadership roles, whether that's head coach or coordinator.
And as you navigate this transition, as convoluted of a transition this is, right? Because again, you're still trying to figure out your career journey, but then also living in alignment and being receptive to God's plan for you. And again, at that point, we're never going to know. All we can do is just pray for discernment and just try to be as spiritually grounded and connected as possible, so that we're able to receive the message that he's trying to deliver to us. But in all of that, right, you just mentioned that you're a player's coach, okay? You are doing an amazing job really giving back to these players, because I know we spoke about this a couple of days ago, right? There are coaches that want the player to fit into their scheme, and there are coaches that are really invested in developing these men. And as a player's coach, that's your priority, right? You really want what's best for these kids, and whether it's with you or not with you, at the end of the day, you know what the game did for you, and you know the benefits that the game has and how it can really impact someone's life. So as a player's coach, what would you say your coaching philosophy is in a couple sentences?
So my philosophy is these two things, right? Utilizing my experiences to be transparent as it fits the need of the player. And then secondly, prioritizing who that player is developing into as a person first and the athlete second. Because just like in life, right? If we handle ourselves first internally, then everything that we attach ourselves to is going to improve because, we improved ourselves. So that's how I approach coaching.
Okay. And what do you do as a coach to help players build their identity, to build their confidence so that it doesn't rise and fall with their level of play during a game?
Yeah, it's obviously, from a football perspective, preparation, right? And providing the tools. And then also in practice, being intentional with what you're communicating, right? And being able to create repetition for those things that are going to translate to the game. So it's not just getting out here and hopping on ladders, doing cones. Excuse me. Yeah, we're going to do that. But it's doing things that are scheme specific to help you practice being in this moment, because when it comes to the game, you don't want it to be foreign, right? Like if you if you run duo for the first time as a running back, and the first time you run it is in the game, you like, oh shit, I didn't realize this was a scheme. You know what I'm saying? I may have an idea of it, but if this is the first time I'm doing it, I might stink it up this first time versus we run a duo in practice every day, right? From a running back perspective, we run a duo in practice every day, and you running it with those same linemen, so you understand their foot speed, their path, you know what I'm saying, how they're going to get to their point. If I need to wait a little bit, you get that, right? So the same as a DB, I'm building your confidence by putting you in these situations through drill work, and also through, just getting reps in sevens, team, things like that. And then us communicating it and watching film about it so that you could communicate your perspective and I can communicate mine. And let's see where mistakes are made and how we can correct it. Because you don't never want a player to get in a situation where they make a mistake. You can't tell them why they made the mistake. You can't tell them how to correct it, because then at that point, like, what are you there for? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really contributing in the best way to contribute to their success.
And there was something very specific that you mentioned that I want to bring back up, right? You said you guys do things in practice, so when it comes game day, it's not foreign. And when you say game day, I'm sure a lot of people probably thinking like, yeah, when it's competition day. But when you say game day, I hear life, because life every day is game day. And you need to practice certain skills so that when it comes time for you to perform, you know how to utilize those skills. And in you being a player's coach, it's of the utmost importance to continue to teach these young adults to develop the skills, because the skills that they're developing are transferable in all other aspects of their life, right? Me and Jay were just talking about this the other on our last conversation, where you guys are good at football, okay? And because you're good at football, you can be good at anything else in life, because the commitment that you have to showing up to the practices and doing things after hours, going into the weight room after hours, running these drills after hours, committing yourself to the craft to be good, you can apply that same level of commitment and dedication to anything else and be just as successful. And I know for us, I don't think I never had that conversation. No one ever told me that I could be good at anything because I was good at football. Any coach that I've ever had was like, I need you to be good at what I need you to do because my livelihood depends on it. And there are coaches, and don't get me wrong, like I get it, right? It's a job, right? This is how you feed your family. Me and Mike were just talking about this the other day of like, yeah, when Coach Scott's bugging out because you guys aren't doing what he told you to do, what he coached you to do. Listen, if we don't win games, he's about to get fired.
I'm out of
Like, he
here.
got a mortgage he
Yeah.
got to pay. He got a wife he got a wife he got to provide for. Like, as a coach, it is your responsibility to win games, and if these players aren't doing what they need, what you're telling them to do, you're going to be out of a job. You're not going to be able to provide for your family. So yes, to an extent, it's important for them to be good players, but what some of the greatest coaches are able to do is create great men, because in you creating great men, you are creating great players, and now you're going to have that buy-in. So as a player's coach, your approach is the best approach, because not only are you creating great men, but you're also creating great players, and they're going to show up for you and for your kids as well. Because I know you mentioned you want to have that family feel with your players, right? So they're showing up to watch you play. Pretty sure it's only a matter of time before they start showing up to your kids' game, cheering them on, because you've cultivated and you've built that relationship. How many coaches can you reflect on and think back that are like, yo, like, this coach really raised me? Like, he made me, he's a part of the man that I am today is because of this particular coach. And maybe that is Coach Scott for you, or whatever, and any other coach that you have. It's just like, there are these certain
Right.
coaches that we have in our lives that shape us, that mold us, that taught us so much more than just the game of football. And as a player's coach, I know you're going to have that impact. That is what you're in alignment for. It's just more so about finding the right place. And maybe you're supposed to be some missionary. Maybe you're not supposed to stay at one place. Maybe you're supposed to go around and
Right.
travel from school location to location, and raise men and develop men that are going to develop to become great football players, but then also become good men and live successful lives outside of the game, so that they don't experience that feeling of loss and confusion and of uncertainty that we might have felt when we were trying to navigate life after the game.
That's real. That's real. You hit it spot on, bro. Spot on.
Yeah, man.
It's about, like, because they not gonna play football their whole life. They might go to the league. That's what's up. That's a blessing, huge blessing. But that's not forever. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta pour into these young men and help shape them just the same as we do for our sons. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta add value there. We have to add value there. So it's a blessing, bro. Like I always said, that football, I wanted to use football as a tool to, like, teach, to mentor, to add value to the youth in the community that I'm involved with at that particular time. So it's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing.
My brother, and I do want to add this last piece, bro. God's not done with you. He ain't done with you. He's still
I
working through
appreciate
you.
it.
He's still working through
Facts.
you, and I know the man of God that you are, that you've always been, like, that you've always been, as long as I've known you, man. Like, you have been spiritually grounded, my brother, and it's still in you, and he's still with you. And he's going to use you for great things, my brother. So just continue on your journey, continue doing what you're doing. But as we get ready to wrap this up, man, if there's any young athletes out there that might be struggling, that might be unsure about what their next move is, if they still want to play the sport, if they still want to pursue this, do you have any advice that you care to share with them? Any words of wisdom from Coach P?
Man, everything happens for a reason, dog. That's the one thing for sure. And then secondly, everything comes in due time. Like, God's timing is the superior and the best timing. Like, whatever your situation is, whether that's you currently playing and you haven't seen the playing time you desire, or whether that's your career is ending and you're unsure of what what direction to go in. Like, God has the answers. Turn to God. Don't put it on yourself. Don't put it on your best friend. Don't put it on any man or woman to create that answer or perspective for you, like, because it's gonna come from God. You have to trust that God's gonna lead you. Keep your head on. Keep your head on straight. Stay positive, and max out at the things that you got control of.
Amen. Well said, my brother. Well said. Well said. Now, for anyone that's tuning into this episode and they want to tap in with you, they want to stay connected, where can they find you? What are you working on now? Is there any way that I can support you, that anyone can support you, and kind of what you're working on right now?
Man, I mean, at the moment, I'm really just reflecting off this past season. Just finished my first season as a defensive coordinator at the junior college level at East LA College. So, obviously, recruiting and connecting with players that are looking for opportunities. I'm just really also using the springtime to spend more time with the fam too, because it slows down a bit during this time versus during the fall where you got games, game prep, and all of that. So that's really where I'm at right now, dog. Just contributing to my oldest son. He actually has a baseball tryout today, so helping him get ready for that. Helping him pour into that and being available to him to work on those skills. Always available. Tap in. I'm big on Twitter. Or X as they want to say. D_Presley 14. Reach out to me. Shoot me a message. It's public. It's not private. Y'all can hit me. Follow me. And for me and you, bro, like this is us being reconnected, dog. So we gonna stay tapped in. I love being on here and getting those questions and kind of sharing and tapping into that because it's been a minute, man. Definitely has some memories flowing, some flashbacks. So I just appreciate you being led to tap in and kind of set this up so that way we could reconnect and also be able to hop on your platform and share these things that we talked about today.
Most definitely, brother. Just try and follow the plan that God has for me and just continue to be receptive. And if that means that I'm using this platform to reconnect with old teammates and kind of see who I can support along the way to help them further their reach, further them along in their journey with their mission, it's so be it, man. So no, it's truly a pleasure, man. It's funny, man. It took me a long time to reach out to you for no good reason. For no good reason. Like I've known that I needed it. I've known for a minute. Just like, yo, I gotta holler at my guy DP. I gotta holler at my guy DP. And then when I started doing the podcast, I'm like, I gotta get my guy on here, man. Like I gotta get my guy on here. So I'm glad that again it was just easy. I remember I text you, still same number. Yep, shit went through in the blue. So I was like, all right, cool, we good, we still locked in, man. So I'm glad you answered, man. I'm glad you were available. You made yourself available to me, bro. I know when I called you last week and we was able to catch up on the phone, bro. It was good, man. Like literally just picking up right where we left off.
Sure.
And I don't take stuff like that for granted, brother. And again, moving forward, you know what it is. Like you know what it is,
on
man.
top,
So
bro.
anything
On
you
top,
need,
man.
anything you need, brother, I'm definitely here for you, looking to support you, and anything that we can do on the platform to support you or any other players that that might be looking for just some space to talk through some things, man. Because again, that's what this is all about, just being open, honest, and transparent about the evolution, right? The evolution of an athlete beyond the game. And that's what we all have to go through. And there are three things that are inevitable in life, man: death, taxes, and hanging up them cleats, man. So we all got to go through it.
Come on.
No matter who you are, bro, it's gonna come a day.
It's gonna happen.
Unless you Terrell Owens and you don't see that shit, everybody else they got that day,
bro.
So,
everybody else gonna have to face it.
Yeah, so man, this has been great. This has been great. Again, to our audience that's been here, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. Please don't be afraid to reach out to Coach P. It's Twitter. We're not going off X. It's Twitter. Feel free to connect with Coach P on Twitter, man. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this podcast with someone that you think could benefit from hearing this message. Maybe they had a story similar to Coach P. Maybe there's something that Coach P said that they would really resonate with and connect with. So please, we want to grow this and really do this the right way and make sure that we're having the impact that we desire. So until next time, everyone, again, appreciate you, Coach P. And that's that on that.
It's love, bro. I appreciate you, dog.